This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Cut the damn music. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airways of ESPN Radio at 710 ESPN LA. It's 98.7 FM in New York City. That's nationwide over the airways of ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80. Number to call up is 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Got a lot of stuff to get to you about today. Sammy Watkins was traded from Buffalo. Jordan Matthews was traded from the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll get into all of that and then some. Got my man Marlon Wayans, actor, comedian, director extraordinaire. He'll be on the show with us in hour number 2. Got a lot of stuff to get to today. But I don't even know what to say. News just comes down that Ezekiel Elliott, star running back entering his second season with the Dallas Cowboys, has been suspended for 6 games. More than a quarter of the 2017 NFL season, Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended for 6 games by Commissioner Roger Goodell and the National Football League. Reading directly from what is online on ESPN, Adam Schefter obviously reported it. The NFL Network reported it. Every damn body knows about this right now. Before I get into anything, let me just read this stuff to you. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended 6 games by the NFL for violating the personal conduct policy the league announced Friday. The suspension comes as a result of an investigation that started more than a year ago after an ex-girlfriend accused Elliott of domestic violence in Columbus, Ohio. The Columbus City Attorney's Office announced in September that it would not pursue charges against Elliott because of, quote, conflicting and inconsistent information. But the NFL can penalize a player without legal charges. Let me say this. Ezekiel Elliott, if you're somewhere listening right now and you're guilty of domestic violence, damn it, you got off easy. Should have been more than 6 games. If you're innocent, totally, and these are fabrications and lies, you got screwed. If you're the National Football League, I need an explanation as to why it took this damn long to come to the conclusion. That's what I'd like to know. But you know who the biggest culprit in all of this, ladies and gentlemen? The biggest culprit in all of this? It's the NFL Players Association. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what we have to understand, what may rake folks' nerves, what may annoy us to no end, is the fact that Commissioner Roger Goodell has total discretion under the guise of the best interest of the game. It's not only a part of the NFL's constitution, it's also a part of the CBA agreement. Because you had best believe that the NFL Players Association, in the midst of signing a 10-year deal, unprecedented, 10 years. My hairline was about 3 feet forward 10 years ago. You know how many things change in 10 years? But somehow, some way, the Players Association signs a 10-year deal. 10 years. And part of it, without question, was a CBA agreement that essentially agreed to comply with some part of the NFL's constitution. And you know the NFL Constitution empowers the commissioner. So it's not just a part of his personal contract. It's a part of the NFL Constitution. It's a part of the CBA. Which means that any complaint that the NFL Players Association tries to come up with in defense of their own player is relatively baseless. Which means if you're Ezekiel Elliott, and indeed you do have a case to defend yourself, it doesn't matter. Because according to the NFL, after retaining an independent counsel to investigate the matter, essentially, you have reached the conclusion that this man and his behavior was not in the best interest of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong. Since this alleged incident took place, I believe the dates were July 17th to July 20th, where the ex-girlfriend for Ezekiel Elliott said on 5 different occasions he abused her in some fashion. I'm looking for the story as we speak to make sure that I have all of the particulars right, but I'm pretty sure those were the dates. Ezekiel Elliott hadn't played a game in the National Football League yet. He was drafted by that time, but he hadn't played a game in the NFL as of yet. It says here, before disciplining Elliott, the NFL considered the domestic violence allegations from February 2016 and July 2016, as well as the St. Patrick's Day incident this March, in which he pulled down a woman's shirt, though he did not factor into the league's decision on discipline. Fair enough. When Ezekiel Elliott pulled that girl's shirt, he looked like a damn idiot. Knowing that you're being investigated, you still playing around in public on a boat during some kind of parade or party or whatever the hell it was. It was irresponsible. Nobody's sitting up here feeling sorry for Ezekiel Elliott in that fashion. My issue is that the man claims he's innocent. The law dropped the case. And the NFL itself kept it open for a year before handing down this, I believe, relatively severe penalty. I personally think that Ezekiel Elliott should have been suspended at least 2 games from the time this kind of stuff happened. Just because you got your name in the media for this nonsense, you deserve to be punished. But to dangle this along all of this time, and then to hand down this game, to hand down this penalty, this is not about conduct detrimental to the league in terms of finding yourself in a situation. You're convicting him in a court of public opinion. You got to remember back in 2010 when Big Ben Roethlisberger went through his troubles and ultimately was suspended for 6 games before having it reduced to 4. There was a concerted effort on the part of the National Football League to say, we don't know, but damn it, his conduct was detrimental to the league because even finding himself in that situation is good enough for us. So you may have some people who believe Big Ben while others who don't. And then you're willing to drop it because you're saying that the NFL handled it with due diligence. It didn't take a year. It wasn't dangling out there all that time. So you can sit up there and say, look, can't find yourself in these situations, we have to make an example out of you. Whether you're guilty or not is irrelevant. That's not what the NFL is doing here. What's happening here is a strong attachment to guilt in a public opinion, in a court of public opinion, because the courts couldn't do it themselves. That's a different ball game here. And before everybody loses their mind, let's be clear. Any man guilty of being the punk that he is and found to, guilty in any way of domestic violence needs to be severely dealt with. In most cases, ladies and gentlemen, women are the victims. You're a man and you call up here and you try to negate and downplay that fact, I'm hanging up on you. It's just the truth. The flip side, however, is there are a few cases where guilt doesn't apply. And what I'm saying is the suspension is not the problem. The amount is the problem, and the time it took to hand it down is the problem, because essentially what you're saying is we don't give a damn what the district attorney did. or what the police refuse to do in not arresting you, Ezekiel Elliott, we're telling the world you're guilty. Even if you say you're innocent. Now what? Where can he possibly go from here? The NFL, with the timing of all of this and how long it took, combined with the length of the suspension, basically said, we think you're guilty. And we want the world to think so as well. This ain't about conduct detrimental to the league. That could fall under any stigma. Oh, you can't be stupid. Can't find yourself in these situations where you can be accused. That's basically what they did with Big Ben Roethlisberger. This is different. You're basically saying he's guilty. How does that sit with y'all? I'm not sure it sits that well with me. However, Ezekiel Elliott, if you are guilty of such a thing, you got off easy. But we don't know. Now what? 866-729-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 866-729-3776. Your calls and more up next. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shades.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, Ezekiel Elliott is out until November. Dallas Cowboys might not make the playoffs. With the Giants looking the way that they're looking, having Brandon Marshall, assuming Sterling Shepard's healthy, having Odell Beckham Jr., not much of a running game or an offensive line, but the defense is stout. Eli Manning is still there on offense with the weapons that I mentioned. Based on this, Giants should win this division. Don't know about the Redskins or Eagles right now, but if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you open the season against the Giants, right? I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me look at the schedule. That was from last year. I apologize. I'm looking at 2016. I was looking for 2017. I'm looking for the schedule here. Here it is. They open the season against the Giants on September 10th. Then they're on the road at Denver. Then Arizona on Monday night. Then they're back home with the Rams and Green Bay. Okay? Then they have a bye week. Okay? For week 6? And then the 7th, they play at San Francisco. Okay? So he comes back, October 29th versus the Washington Redskins on the road. That's Ezekiel Elliott's first game. October 29th at Washington. Giants, Broncos, Cardinals, Rams, Green Bay. Well, Dallas could win that in San Francisco. Dallas could win about 3 of those games. They might be 3-3 after week 6. Might be 3-3. They'll lose to Green Bay. No doubt about that. Nobody's given Ezekiel Elliott a pass there. He's been a flaming idiot. Pulling a girl's shirt. Going to Seattle and, venturing into some weed spot. All of this while knowing you were being investigated. Reading here from the letter that the NFL sent to Ezekiel Elliott. It said here during the early morning hours of July 17, 2016, there was an altercation at the Canvasback Lane apartment in Columbus, Ohio, in which you used physical force that caused injuries. We're not going to say the victim's name, the alleged victim. But apparently, according to the reports by the NFL, caused injuries to her arms, neck, and shoulders. These injuries are portrayed in several photographs. parentheses 3 series, confirmed by forensic analysis to have been taken by the alleged victim the following day and subsequently sent to her aunt with a text message stating abusive. Several of these injuries are also portrayed in photographs taken by the Columbus Police Department on July 22nd, 5 days later. Parentheses 7 series. Some of these injuries are also depicted in photographs provided by the alleged victim's family to the Columbus City Attorney's Office. Collectively, a review of these photographs by both medical experts determined that the injuries to her arms, neck, and shoulders appear recent and consistent with her description of the incident and how they occurred. On the morning of July 19th, 2016, there was an altercation at the Canvasback Lane apartment in which you used physical force that caused injuries to her face, arms, wrists, and hands. So now this is a separate incident. One was July 17th. This is 2 days later. These injuries are portrayed in photographs confirmed by forensic analysis to have been taken by her on the afternoon of July 21st, 2016, and concurrently sent via text message to her mother. These injuries are also portrayed in the photographs taken by the Columbus Police Department on July 22nd. A review of these photographs by both medical experts determined that the injuries displayed appear recent and consistent with her description of the incident and how they occurred. 2 days later, during the early mornings of July 21st, altercation at this Canvasback Lane apartment in which you used physical force that caused injuries to her face, neck, arms, knees, and hips. Someone stated in an interview that she observed these injuries to the alleged victim later that same day. These injuries are portrayed in a photograph taken by the alleged victim the afternoon of July 21st, 2016, and in photographs provided by her family to the Columbus City Attorney's Office, or taken by that office on the same date. Let me stop this right now. We got an incident on July 21st. We got an incident 2 days earlier, July 19th. We got an incident on July 17th. I take it back. I said that the NFLPA and that collective bargaining agreement that they agreed to, empowering Roger Goodell, was a culprit. Let me tell you another culprit, the police department. Why hasn't this man been arrested? 1, 2, 3 separate days. I mean, according to this man, every other day he was at her. Why was he playing football last year? This is according to the police. See, this is getting really, really tricky for me. Because on one hand, all I'm seeing, because remember, when I went through the first segment of this show, there was no NFL letter that was in front of me like it is now. So what I'm saying to y'all is this. I'm looking for the last year. I'm hearing his denials. I'm hearing that he was never arrested. I'm hearing that the prosecutor dropped the case. And I'm like, what's the problem? The NFL leaves the case open. I believe dropped it, then reopened it and kept it dangling out there. And I'm like, why? And now I'm seeing this, and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. July 17th, 19th, and 21st, something happened and no arrest? None? Whatsoever? And the prosecutor drops the case? And if you're the National Football League, you don't get off scot-free with this. This is supposedly in the police report. See, to me, what I just read to you all is enough to warrant a suspension. Oh, 3 separate incidents? The police said this was consistent? Forensic analysis confirms it? What the hell is the problem? Why did it take this long? What are we missing? I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. But based on this letter from the NFL, this 6-game suspension seems justified. Why it take so long? Why wasn't he suspended his rookie year? I don't get it. I really, really don't. 866-729-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. Your phone call's up next. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Let's be clear about something before we move on with this show. This could end up being good for Ezekiel Elliott and definitely good for the NFL because this brother definitely needed to be slowed down. You know you're being investigated, but you're tugging on some girl's shirt during while on a boat with some kind of parade going on and exposing her cleavage. Witnesses said that you punched somebody and broke their nose in a bar or something in Dallas, even though that was never confirmed and it was ultimately investigated and dropped. Speeding down 100 miles an hour, even though, shoot, who am I? That's hypocritical because I speed. Not that much, but not to that speed, but still. It's a situation where Ezekiel Elliott, young, has been very dumb in some of his decisions. Having said all of that, from a Vegas standpoint, they consider him worth about a half point in these games. In other words, they don't think he's going to have much of his loss has much of an impact. Why? Because you still have Darren McFadden, who rushed for like 1,089 yards a couple of years ago. You signed Alfred Morris from the Redskins the following season. They're both still there. McFadden turns 30 this month. He's missed 42 games in 9 seasons, including 13 last year after elbow surgery. He's played in a full 16-game season only twice in his career, 2014 and 2015. That's it. Got to remember that Alfred Morris was on a trading block this offseason. Those are your running backs, plus you signed Ronnie Hillman. We'll see what happens. Going from here. Freddie in Long Beach, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's Frankie anyway, Stephen A. Come on, man. That's Freddie. It's Frankie, man.
Well, it said
anyway.
Freddie. I'm on the board, man. I don't know who's on the air. I just read the board. Go ahead, man.
Frankie,
Frankie,
I figured someone's going to say hello to you anyway. Stephen A., the Ezekiel Elliott, man, I think he got the O.J. Simpson treatment, man. Beat the criminal case, and here comes civil. Then attacked him on the show. Took the black man money.
I'm not going to say the O.J. Simpson case because we saw that trial on TV and we know he deserved to be under the damn jail. O.J. should still be in jail for life for that.
You know he shouldn't. He got found innocent, man.
Yeah,
I don't care how somebody feel personal about it, but the court and our judicial system said he was innocent. So I'm living with that. Now they take his money civil, okay. Even the criminal court with Ezekiel Elliott, you just read down this whole rap sheet within 2 years. He should have been locked up, but he wasn't. But here it is now, in the eyes of the public and you, he's guilty of something that the court system said he's not guilty of. And the NFL, again, taking the black man money. Help me out here, Steven. And plus, the Knicks still don't
you're confusing me because you sound like you have no, like you said, you think he should be in jail or whatever. You sound like you don't have, 1 minute you sound like you don't have a problem with the NFL's decision. The next second you sound like you have a big problem with it. Which one is it, Frankie?
When you read this rap sheet out, I agree with you on that part that he should have been in jail, but he wasn't. They never arrested him or nothing. No,
so are you saying that it's wrong for the NFL to hand down the suspension?
For that's why I say he had the O.J. treatment.
Okay.
The criminal system said that he was innocent.
Got it. Appreciate the call, Frankie. Thank you so much. Let's go to D. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, D? D, go ahead, man. You're live on the air. Let's go to Mike in Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Steve, what's going on? Good to hear you. I really don't care if he's guilty or not guilty. I think the NFL should stay and mind their own business. But either way, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be that bad. The offensive line is a bunch of beasts. When Tyron Smith and Zach Martin get hurt, then come back. Until then, Zeke is just a piece of the puzzle.
What do you mean you don't care whether he's guilty or not?
That means that from an NFL perspective, it doesn't really matter whether he's guilty or not. I don't know who they are to police the world. Let them mind football and let the police mind the police department.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you believe that the NFL shouldn't care about who represents their shield, their brand, and just should let any and all people in? If you're not in jail, just because you're not in jail, that means that gives you the right to play in the NFL if they don't like the way that you behave?
100%. Yes, that's what I believe.
I got you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. There are people out there like Mike in Jersey who feel that way. I ain't one of them. I mean, you got to have some kind of discipline. You got to know how to behave yourself. When you represent a brand, you have to conduct yourself appropriately. I believe that. Some people don't, though. So Mike's in New Jersey. His position is not far off. There's a lot of people that feel the way that he feels, in all fairness to him. Let's go to Mike in Denver. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, big baby? How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. Talk to me.
Hey, man, this Elliott thing, man, it done went over the top. You better believe, man, that he's very popular in Ohio because you get them 3 charges back to back like that and nothing happened. It's something going on with the prosecutor and, Zeke's people, but that's neither here nor there.
It's not 3 charges, but it was 3 times. I mean, it was back on like July 17th, then the 19th, then the 21st. 3 separate incidences where basically the same thing happened to the alleged victim. No arrest, and the prosecutor saying that we can't file any charges because of inconsistent and insufficient evidence. I'm like, how? It seemed pretty damn consistent to me.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he got charged. He just didn't. He just beat the charges. You know what I'm saying? You go there 3 times with the same case, with the same person involved. It's something going on with the prosecuting and Zeke's team. Zeke just that powerful, man. And just like with the incidents down in Dallas. So the NFL ain't did nothing but let him just hang himself. Let it linger on like that. And now, he got suspended like this. So, man, it's something going on with the prosecutor. With that, because ain't no normal.
Well, let me ask you this question real quick, Mike. Do you agree that Ezekiel Elliott should get the 6 games, or do you think the suspension should be reduced?
He gonna get it reduced, but I mean, they got to give him the 6 games because they in so much trouble, Stephen. They with this domestic violence stuff. They doing their best not to fumble the ball no more. So
well, they don't need to fumble. I agree with them. They don't need to fumble the ball. My problem is you left it there. See, with Big Ben Roethlisberger, what you said was we're gonna suspend you for conduct detriment of the league. We don't know what happened. We don't care. You are a big name. You matter to this league. You can't sully our shield by being involved in some nonsense like this. That's entirely different to me than what they did to Ezekiel Elliott, Mike. The impression that I'm getting from them is that we want the world to know Ezekiel Elliott, we think he's guilty of this.
Exactly.
It's not about conduct detriment. It's not about appearances and, putting a bad face on the league. That's what I got from Big Ben's suspension. What I'm getting from this suspension is we don't care what the Lord did. We think you guilty. That's what I'm getting from this.
And that's like the one caller was saying, the NFL just taking matters into their own hand. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's where I think they're wrong. I think they're wrong about that because if the court of law can't sit up there and not even arrest you, let alone convict you, you don't have a right to step forward and be like, you're basically guilty with it. All they had to do was suspend a month ago and said, look, you found yourself in this damn situation. We're disgusted with your behavior. You sullied our name. That's why we're suspending you. And I would have been good with it, Mike. Right. But they seem to be saying, we think you're guilty, and we want the world to know you're guilty.
And trying to seem like they was trying to wait to see if anything else happened with them so they could really prove what they was trying to do, which is wrong. And you right on the money with that. But, man, look, I got to get ready to run. Nice talking to you. Hey, you was fly again this morning, man. Love that brown you had on this morning, man.
No doubt. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. 866-729-ESPN. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Listen up, America. I know a lot of you have already gotten a Zipper and are getting happy Z's as a result. You're welcome. As for the rest of you, what's the holdup? There are too many of you snoring and being a nuisance to everybody around you. I need you to stop procrastinating and deal with this now and get a Zipper. How do I know you need this? Because I'm one of those individuals, one of those millions who was snoring. Because I used to be one of you. I always keep it real with you, and I'm not going to change now. Zipper gets reports every time I talk about their product on my radio show. They know you went to their website, Zipper.com. They know you clicked through all the 5-star testimonials and watched the video proving it works. They also know that you actually went through the process of putting a Zipper in your shopping cart. Now finish the process and get a Zipper already, please. Listen up. Your snoring is not going to stop until you get a Zipper. I don't care what it costs. Sleep is priceless. You would know this if you got a Zipper and read the message inside the box. So I'm telling you, to get a Zeepa. Stop procrastinating. Go to Zeepa.com, please. That's ZYPPAH.com. Remember, Zeepa is Happy Z, spelled backwards. A couple of things I want to read to you all right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. If the suspension stays at 6 games, Ezekiel Elliott will lose about $560,000 in base salary and potentially much more. To be specific, if the suspension is upheld, the guarantees on Elliott's contract will be voided and he will have to pay back some of his already earned signing bonus money. For each game missed, Elliott would also have to repay about $240,000 in signing bonus money he has received, or roughly $1.4 million. That's where we're at with this. A couple other important details to point out. Peter Harvey was part of the 4-member external expert advisory panel the NFL utilized in making its decision. The NFL used only the incidents with the former girlfriend from July 16th to July 21st in Columbus, Ohio, and from the St. Patrick's Day parade in Dallas in March. NFL Vice President of Communications Joe Lockhart said the league told Elliott, quote, he used poor judgment and questionable behavior, end quote, in pulling down the woman's top, but it did not rise to the level of adding to the penalty. Investigators said the evidence they collected led them to believe Elliott engaged in physical force that caused injury, according to Peter Harvey, a former attorney general for New Jersey. The league was able to collect data from this former girlfriend's phone that came the same day as the incident she reported. Harvey said Elliott's representatives presented, quote, alternative theories, end quote, and how the woman may have suffered the injuries from a fight with another woman, falling down the stairs, or at her job as a server. But they did not offer evidence of the injuries occurring under those circumstances. Falling down the stairs or at her job as a server? Really? And by the way, if the pulling down of the woman's top did not rise to the level of adding to the penalty, why bring it up as a part of the penalty process? Why bring it up as a part of the decision-making process in regards to the penalty if you're then going to say it had no effect on the penalty? I'm just asking. It's still stupid and irresponsible of him to do. Back to the phones. Skip, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Stephen?
Talk to me, man. Go ahead, buddy.
Look here, I despise the Dallas Cowboys, but I do want to say this. I think the NFL has overreached this bound. I don't know how you supersede the judicial system. That just doesn't make sense to me. And, yes, this young man needs to check himself. But I still think the NFL has overstepped its bounds.
Well, you know what, but Skip, do you agree with me when I say the big problem I have? See, I draw a distinction between what happened with Big Ben Roethlisberger back in 2010 when he got suspended 6 games and then it was reduced to 4 because he was accused of sexual assault. I draw a distinction between that and this in this regard. I think the NFL back then was saying, we don't know what happened, but you know what? We're disgusted that you find yourself in this situation and you're not going to sully the name of the league. So that is why we're getting on you. To me, that's entirely different than what they're doing here with Ezekiel Elliott, because what they're saying to Ezekiel Elliott is, we think you're guilty and we want the world to think you're guilty of what you have been accused of. That to me is what they're saying.
And why take 13 months to arrive at that?
I'm saying the 13 months it took ultimately forces you to adopt that opinion. What else are we to believe after waiting this long? After waiting this long for the NFL to make a decision, what else are we to believe, Skip, other than they clearly think he's guilty?
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% there. I just think that, and you're right, you backed off the players' union because of the cops, but the players' union is complicit too.
No, I didn't back off of them. I just said they weren't the only ones culpable.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, Skip. Thank you so much. Let's go to Tyreek real quick. You're live from New Jersey. What's going on? Tyreek, go ahead real quick.
Hello?
Yeah, Tyreek, you're live on the air. Go ahead. Tyreek, call back when you're ready. Bobby in New Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Bobby, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Steve? Good to hear you. Anyway, I'm a Cowboy fan, diehard Cowboy fan since Danny White days. Now, I must say that you're right in everything you said. This may be good for Zeke. You know what I mean? Because obviously, you know, he's rolling down a hill. He might get into more issues than this. This might be good for him. Now, Are we in danger? I don't think so. I mean, Alfred Morris is an explosive running back. I mean, he's maybe not like
he was a couple of years ago. We don't know what he is now. They were talking about
trading
trading him.
With the Redskins, they gave us a hard time.
I said we don't know that because we ain't seen him in a couple of years. That's my point.
Nah, well, I think he ain't losing. I think we're in pretty good shape. I mean, just to hold us off.
A Cowboy fan would say that. You think y'all in good shape when y'all go 1-15? What difference does that make?
Coming from your mouth, anything's possible, man.
That's right.
Just to shut you up.
There you go. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'm going to have a ball with y'all this year. I'm gonna have a ball with y'all this year.
I know you are. You'll be the first one I think about.
But I gotta tell you though, Bobby. The thing that stinks to the high heavens about this is that I think that the NFL. It's one thing to protect your shield and your brand by saying the fact that you found yourself in this situation is all we need to know, and that's why we're suspending you. That's entirely different to me than what happened here. They dragged this on for more than a year. And as far as I'm concerned, has made a concerted effort to find him guilty in a court of public opinion of the exact allegation that the courts couldn't do. That's my issue with this, Skip. I mean, with this, Bobby. That's my issue.
Absolutely, man. Continue your hate towards us because we're going to the top soon.
That's right. Yeah, you ain't going to no top. You ain't going to no top. Matter of fact, this is evidence of you going to the bottom. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Hour number 2, we will continue with the discussion about Ezekiel Elliott's suspension. The Dallas Cowboys star, second-year running back, has been suspended for 6 games. 6 games. By Commissioner Roger Goodell in the National Football League. Plus, there's been some trades that's going on in the NFL. Sammy Watkins is gone from Buffalo. Jordan Matthews is gone from the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. Lots of stuff to get into hour number 2. Can't wait to do it. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show. ESPN Radio. Hour number 2 up next.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.